So I made a video on what I would consider a good thing for a beginner witch kit. What sort of supplies I think that you should get early in your practice in order to set you up for success in the future. Right? Straightforward. We love it. But what if you're not a beginner witch? What if you're a beginner priestess? Because that is one of my target audiences. There's a lot of support out there for baby witches, but there's not a lot of support out there for people who are just getting started in leadership. So, what would I give you or recommend you buy as a beginning priestess? And also, I feel like I've never mentioned this on the channel, but I use priestess the way that the reclaiming tradition does, where it's a gender-neutral term for the profession, and also like priestessing is the verb, even if you yourself are a priest. It's a way of linguistically centering people who are traditionally shunted to the side in the way of religious leadership. You know. In the Baby Witch Kit, Beginner Witchcraft Kit, my goal was to give you recommendations and to have you buy things or source things that are relatively simple and relatively cheap, and most importantly, relatively subtle and mundane looking, in case you don't want to use it for witchcraft later and you realize that you bought a ritual knife for no reason, or in case that you're in the closet. For priestessing stuff, you do want fancy, you do want kind of big, you do want kind of dramatic, because it's inherently a public role, and all of the tools that I am recommending are things that will help you do your public role. Your items need to be dramatic and flashy and like dripping with gravitas in order for other people in ritual to feel more comfortable with what you're doing. Pagan ritual can look a little bit silly to the outside, especially if you've never done it before. So I think it's good to kind of embrace some of the theatricality and silliness and show that that's okay. So for ritual, I think set dressing and your own dressing and tools can be used to tell your audience, who are your participants, that this is a participatory event and that it's okay for them to get invested in something even if it doesn't look like what they're used to. You feel me? You feel me. In that vein, my first item. A fancier version of what you already have. A knife, a kitchen knife, is good enough for use in your own home practice when you're just starting out. It's a wonderful thing. But for ritual with other people, it's nicer to have the pretty knife. It's even nicer if you are a tradition where this would make sense to have like a sword instead of an athame, or a staff instead of a wand. You know, really go big. A big old cauldron that's designed for, you know, feeding a feast, as opposed to my cute little Dutch oven that can feed one person one snack. Once again, I'm putting a refillable lighter, going off of things from the witchcraft kit, but better, fancier vestments. This is my priestessing robe. And by wearing a fancy priestessing robe, one, I communicate that this can be a theatrical setting, and I communicate to everybody in the room that I am slightly more invested in this ritual. It kind of makes it easier for new people to realize who is the priestess, who is the person they should probably talk to. For this reason, I think if you have a ritual team, if you've got multiple people priestessing, you should absolutely have something similar. My coven has 3 officers, and each of them has these officer robes that are white with a specific trim and a specific clasp, and because we're all wearing that, it's easy for a new person to go, oh, I have questions, and that person already did talk to me about stuff. I think they're the priestess. I think they're the person in charge. Next up, I recommended in the first video that you get used to certain types of crystals and get used to and interested in crystal magic. This is not necessarily crystals, it's a big ol' rock. A heavy, just a fucking heavy rock. This is a black tourmaline, but you don't have to have one, it can just be anything. I recommend that it be something you can close in your fist, so this is about the biggest that I could use, and I recommend that it be something heavy. Tourmaline is great, whereas a pumice would be kind of weird, because this is keeping track of what the ritual is going to be and how you're going to like invoke things if something goes wrong. You know, you're thinking in a million different places, and also you are doing something very spiritual. And in my experience, having a big thick rock like that helps ground me and pull me back into this moment, this second. Makes it easier to take a few deep breaths and then organize all of the things that are in my head so I can deal with them in order of priority. Next up, it's a nice cloth, and 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 a nice cloth. Just a bunch of different scraps of fabric in different colors, different sizes, different prints, different textures, different materials. That is such an easy way to make an altar look beautiful, or help you dress up a venue that looks kind of boring. You can lay down some seasonally appropriate cloths on the altar. You can hang some of the cloths as banners. You can use them as curtains to keep some of the light out if there's a window that's inconvenient. You can use them to mark space. You can use them for anything. And crucially, they pack down really easy. A box full of fake flowers is also a really nice quick decoration to make something look magical, but that takes so much space. That's a full box of fake flowers, and I can have the same number of things for a quarter of the space if I'm using a bunch of pieces of fabric. Some of these are remnants or scraps that I picked up for cheap from the fabric store because they're like the ends of a bolt, or they're just trying to get rid of it. Some of them are fat quarters. The great thing about fat quarters is you can usually get them in a pack of like 5 to 7 in a similar colorway or a similar theme. So if you can find like a autumnal pack of fat quarters, you get like 6 different patterns that are all good for Lunasa through Samhain. And then some of them are bandanas. Bandanas are great because they're a pretty cheap thing to get from a nice small artist, and then you're supporting the artist and also getting beautiful art. Next up, any book on leadership. If you are a fresh priestess, if you are just stepping into an organizational leadership position, you gotta be learning constantly. And there's a lot of things that school and college and your work and your previous church experience or your previous witchcraft experience haven't prepared you for. So some kind of leadership book. Here I picked Making Spaces Safer, which is about dealing with and preventing sexual harassment in small organizations. It's primarily targeted towards leftist spaces of some kind, which pagans aren't not leftist. Next up, a drum or some other kind of noisemaker. Oh god, that fucking blasted my camera. I didn't realize how much that fucked with the light balance. Anyway. Music and sound is a great way to draw people into trance and to draw people into ritual, to bring everyone together, to cultivate group mind. It's just good stuff. Sound is also really good for marking the beginning and end of rituals. In a public ritual, it can be good to have a sound so that everyone in earshot knows, okay, we're shutting up with our side conversations, it's time to pay attention. And then at the end, we're done with ritual, we can be normal humans again, and we don't have to pay attention to what's going on everywhere or like in the center of circle. We can pick up the conversation that we dropped at the beginning of ritual. Next up, a discreet Bluetooth speaker of some kind. I am not sponsored, so I'm not telling you what kind this is. It's just a Bluetooth speaker that my partner bought at the Home Depot. You want something that is battery powered or rechargeable so that you can use it outside no problem, and you want something kind of small so that it's not obvious that you have a piece of electronics playing some mood music. But mood music is nice. Everybody loves mood music. You can just never go wrong with mood music. And then finally, I don't have a good example of this because all of the examples are really big and won't fit on my table, but a box with organizational sections. So a tackle box or a craft box that has drawers and compartments and little cabinets and doors, anything that you can use to store a lot of medium to small to large items. Why? Because your ritual gear is a variety of medium to small to large items, some of which are fragile, some of which can stack. Having a single box where you can carry all of your ritual stuff and it's all organized saves you a lot of panic running around your house to find your supplies, and panic when at the end of the event when you're packing up and you're not sure if you have everything, because you can just look at your box and go, oh, compartment for the bowl is empty, the bowl is out here somewhere. Also, if you label your box, like where every single piece goes, then you can ask someone else to pack up the ritual stuff, because they'll be able to tell how to refill the box. People love to help and they're very afraid of filling a box or filling the box incorrectly. So there we are. There's kind of a priestess kit. Things that I would buy you as a graduation present, or that I would recommend you buy your high priestess as a solstice gift or birthday present. Stuff that I would recommend you buy pretty early, because you won't regret having it. This has been Kate Bogg, one of many lanterns. I post once a month about witchcraft and priestessing and makeup, lifestyle, crafting stuff from a pagan slant, and all sorts of fun stuff. Like, subscribe, comment, all of that really does help my channel. I would love to maybe make money from this one day, and I can't do that without you. Keep shining.